So when I got my new Jeffsy from the factory last season, it was kind of creaky. It was making this noise every time I pedaled, and I thought it was the bottom bracket, but after a lot of analysis of trying to figure out if it was the bottom bracket, turns out it was the chainstay pivot. So I'm going to show you today how to take apart all the pivots and re-grease them so that they are not creaky. First thing you need to do is take the wheel off, because especially on the Jeffsy, to take apart the chainstay pivot, you actually have to access the other side as well and hold that still. Otherwise, you'd just be twisting this forever and it'll never come loose. 6mm on the front, 5mm on the back. I need to put the camera down to actually twist this. Okay, then you want to separate the chainstay from the actual pivot, and then be careful because there's a washer here, and then there's also a cap that covers up that bearing. So you'll clean those off real well, and then you'll re-lube them and put them back in. Throw some poly lube on pretty much everything, then you can put it all back together. After you got everything lubed back up, remember the little bearing cover goes back on, then this little washer goes on top of that. YT actually has a guide of parts that can be lubed. I'll find that and include that in the description. So pretty much anywhere where parts could be rubbing on each other, you're going to want to lube up. So lift everything back up, get it into place, and this part that has the extension on it will go in first, and it goes from the outside to the inside. Then the inside part, the screw part, actually screws into that, and YT does a pretty nice job of showing you how torqued you need to get things. 12 Newton meters on the chainstay pivot. Throw your wheel back in, and then while you have it out, no reason not to grease up your axle. And I'm going to show you how to do these other pivots as well, because they're a little bit tricky with the washer. Because I'm servicing pretty much everything today, I'm going to let the air out of my shock, because you don't want to take that apart and have air still in the shock. The seatstay pivot is a little bit goofy, so let me show you how that one works. You need a 4mm to get out this inside bolt. Once you got the bolt out, this thing right here is like a cork-shaped washer piece. And what you do is stick a 5mm hex into it. It doesn't twist. You kind of just got to give it a little bit of a yank, and it'll come out. And here, this is what that thing looks like. Mine came out a lot easier that time than the first time I did it. I really had to give it like a couple pounds on the side to get it to come out. Then 6mm will take this bolt out that's actually connecting all the way through here, clean and lube that and shove that back in. Mine's fine, so I'm not taking it apart right now. And then if you want to do the pivot by the bottom bracket, it works the exact same way. You'll take that bolt out and then stick a hex through again and just give it a couple pounds from the side, and it'll pop out this washer-shaped item. And depending on how tight it is for you, it was really tight for me the first time. It took quite a bit. Obviously, you don't want to hurt your bike, but it takes a little bit of force to get that out of there. All right, we cleaned up this piece, greased it up. Now we just shove it back in here and bolt it back in. Once you got that washer back in, throw the bolt back in, and then give it 5 Newton meters of force. If you took the inside bolt out, 15 Newton meters of force.